Hey everybody, it's Sean and Pastor Steve. And Steve, you got to tell us, we want to know what's coming up next week. Is it more Deuteronomy?
Well, Lord willing, it is more Deuteronomy.
Okay, cool.
There's lots more out there. I've got to start deciding at this point how many more of these we're going to do. Today was number 7, and I thought originally I'd only do 10, but now I got about 7 more topics that I'd like to cover out of the book, so I have to decide. But I'm pretty sure that for next week we're going to be on this. So Moses is the man of God, right? He's the quintessential Old Testament. He is the man. He's the man of God. Yep. He's the God that God raised up in Egypt to deliver the people. He's the guy who, through him, God performed all these miracles and parted the Red Sea and all that. He's the guy who led them around the wilderness. And then it turns out that God says to him at the very end, "Oh, you're not going to get to go with the promised land." Right. So I think I'm going to read about that. And listen to this part. Moses writes in Deuteronomy 3, "And I pleaded with the Lord at that time, saying, 'Oh, Lord God, you have only begun to show your servant your greatness and your mighty hand. And please let me go over and see the good land beyond the Jordan, that good hill country and Lebanon.' But the Lord said no. The Lord was angry with me because of you and would not listen to me. And the Lord said to me, 'Enough from you.'" Moses must have been pleading and pleading. "Enough. I had enough of you. Do not speak to me of this matter again." And he tells him to go look at all the land, and that's as much as you're going to see, what you can see from the top of this mountain. So I want to preach on that from several vantage points. One is, it seems like God's being kind of mean.
Yeah.
Like kind of picky, so I want to justify what God's doing there, and there's a lot for us to learn from it. So it's going to be about, now I'm giving something away that I don't want to give away.
A little teaser, it's fine.
It's going to be about, in part, the dangers of partial obedience. It's also going to be about, when you're messing with God's things, see, God told him, "Speak to the rock." That's a direct order, a specific command, and instead Moses took his rod and he hit the rock, right? Because he's angry with the people. You don't mess with things God says. You want to be very careful to do what God says in the way God says. So we're going to see the danger of partial or incomplete obedience. We're going to see the danger of, well, messing with what God says and doing something else, doing some other thing, and the kind of consequences that there could be. We're also going to see about the effect of social relationships. The Lord didn't let Moses go in because of them, for their sake, because he's too associated with them. So you're not going to get to see the land because you're part of that generation, and they're a mess, so you're not going in either. So even the danger of associations, like what effects can a father have on a family? What effects can a friend have on a friend? And so on. So I think that's what we're going to do. I'll have to decide for sure tomorrow morning, but I think we're doing Moses, the man of God, doesn't get to go in the land because he got angry and hit the rock.
Yeah, I mean, of all the people that we see in that part of the Old Testament, you would think he would get to go, and he doesn't.
He doesn't, but we're out of time.
We are out of time, Steve, but I'm looking forward to that, sir.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.